Well, guys, I got a package yesterday from, doesn't have his YouTube name, but his name is Wendell from Paintsville, Kentucky. And he and his son have put together a couple of locks. This is the first one he asked me to pick. He calls this the Junkyard Dog. And please put a tailpiece. I had to put a tailpiece on this. I just put one screw so it'll be easier for us to take apart. I didn't want it to pop apart if we get it picked. This has had a couple of machining challenges. Looks kind of rustic, but maybe we can get into this. I did try the key before we started on challenge locks. I like to make sure they work, and this one does. It likes to work only clockwise. If you jiggle it, it will eventually go counterclockwise, but the key does work, as you can see, so therefore it is pickable. So let's just go with that. Let's get the vise over here, see if we can get into Wendell's Junkyard Dog. He's got one lock that he put together and then one his son put together, and I think this is his. Let's see if we can't get into this one first. Alright. Now, it does work. There we go. It does work. A little stiff, but it does work. It is a regular Schlage keyway, kind of open, but we do have that piece of warding stuck in the middle. I can't work from the bottom, so instead I'm going to use that real estate. I can find the right tension wrench here. Find a medium tension wrench, and I'm just going to hang him right there. We can't use any of that room anyway, so I'm just going to hang him right there, and we find a nice pick. I'm going to work from the ledge on the left here. And I'm going to use a homemade DeForest diamond. Got to pick a little bit of an angle, but you see it does clear the entire keyway to the highest cut. Alright, it is a very, like I said, rustic looking lock. I'm going to try to bully it first. If I can get my pick out. Man, there's something in there. Right around the middle. That really hangs up both on the key and on this pick. Alright, all the way in, I'm going to try to kind of bully it first. See if I can force something. And the answer would be no. It just binds and grabs the pick. So let's not do it that way. All the way in, light tension. And let's try it gently. I got to click on 2. I think that was just warding. I got a little counter rotation there on 3. I got a good deep set. I think 3 is probably a very deep spool. I'm getting some feedback on 1. Again, counter rotation. And I've lost the fault set. So let's go back in the back and look. Oh, I got the fault set back when I touched pin 6. I'm still getting counter rotation there. That's on 2. That might just be the grabbing the warding. Okay, definite counter rotation on 6. And there we go. Alright, let us take a look and see what's inside of the Junkyard Dog. Paintsville, Kentucky. Alright, we do have a key. I'm not going to worry about that. Let's unlock it back up. Find the screwdriver I used a minute ago to put them together. What do I do with them? There we go. Reclaim my tailpiece. That sounds like something you'd say in a bar after a couple of too many beers. Alright, off to the side there. Let's get we've got the right size here already lined up, left over from the quick set. And let's just go ahead and really floppy in there now. Look at that key flopping in and out. A lot of play in this thing. That is not... Oh yeah, it is. I was going to say that's not the right size, but it is, isn't it? Alright, there's all 6 pins. Let's see if we got any weirdness. I'm seeing a lot of pins flopping around. I can see a few threads in there. That last one is a very rustic looking pin. Pretty rough looking. Got a piece of a screw. We have an American pin, serrated. We have in pin 3 is an American. Pin 1 is a homemade spool, and that's a piece of a screw. Number 4, it is a very rough looking, I think that's a standard. I really can't tell. It's kind of rough. We have another American serrated. And then we have, it looks like some kind of just piece of steel. That looks like a carbide insert, an anti-drill pin perhaps. I really don't know what he is. And we have some threads here, a couple of threads thrown in for free on every single cylinder. Somebody's addicted to the tap. All right, let's see what we got upstairs. He's just barely breaking the shear line there. So I would suspect the spring in him, ooh, that was actually 2 pins. Oops. One American reduced diameter serrated spool, and it looked like there was something else in there too. Oh no, that was out of chamber number 2. Chamber number 2 is an American diameter, reduced diameter standard. I don't see the spring for 2. He's probably still down inside there. We're going to ignore him for now. Number 3 looks like a very ugly, very rough looking. Is that a square spool? I really don't know. Pretty nasty looking. I mean, he's very, you'll get a look in a minute. He's very, that is not the one you want to date, if you know what I mean. Number 4, I got nothing. Let me turn this up just a bit. Nothing popped out of 4. I don't see anything breaking the shear line. I'm going to turn it upside down. And there he is. 4 is a reduced diameter. Let's see, that was 2. 4 is a reduced diameter pin with no spring, and I don't know. It looks like a homemade T-pin with no spring. Number 5. Good spring in him, and he is another one of these little reduced diameter anti-drill rods, it looks like. And then the last one, he did not pop above the shear line. I don't even know if there's anything there. Yeah, it looks like there's a little T-pin looking thing. If you use my banger. Yeah, he didn't want to come out of there. He is jammed up very solidly in there. I don't think he came into play at all, guys. He is really jammed. He's not coming out. Let's go ahead and if we can pull the top of this out. This is a screwdriver that was included with the lock, but this is an Allen tip, an Allen head. So we should probably use the right tool. All right. He popped out again. Very ugly. It's a tiny fraction of a spring, but I think that is a homemade T-pin made with a file and a rough rock. There's your spring. Anyway, fellas, here's what we're looking at. Let me look in the Bible. I don't think that, yeah, we got some threads in here too, guys. 1, 2, 6, 5, 4, 3, I believe is the only one that is not threaded all the way to the bottom. All the rest of them are threaded. So all chambers threaded except for one in the Bible. Let me show you how. I know why you call this the Junkyard Dog, Wendell. This thing really is put together with pieces from a junkyard, I gotta say. All right, here we have a standard diameter, but it's a homemade spool, and upstairs we had a reduced diameter, very tiny serrated spool. On the bottom we had a steel piece of a screw, and then an American diameter driver. Actually, that's a key pin, but he was in the driver position. On the bottom we had an American diameter, reduced diameter serrated key pin, and on the top, the ugliest spool ever seen. I think he's not quite square. Maybe he's a 5-sided, I don't know. Down below here we had a serrated, very rough looking serrated key pin, and upstairs we had this reduced diameter American pin diameter T-pin. On the bottom, serrated key pin. On the top, this steel rod looking thing, like an anti-drill pin. On the bottom, same kind of thing. I just noticed these two are not the same diameter, so I don't know where these came from. And this, you just saw, was probably not even in play. He was jammed up in there. Very, very solid. Very rustic, very rough machine work on this thing. Made it hard to pick. And when you throw in these nasty junkyard pins, I think you can see it's not so easy to pick. Probably not the most reliable lock to use on your door, but for picking and challenge, I guess it's fair game. Almost all the pieces were there, and the key worked most of the time. Anyway, Wendell, thank you, sir. Appreciate the Junkyard Dog. Everybody else, stay safe, stay legal.